Hello friends. So continuing with pharmacognosy subject, in that we have already started with chemical nature of crude drugs. Now in that the next important class today we will see is tannins. Tannins and resins we are going to cover in today's session, and first we will cover tannins. Now tannins are high molecular weight phenolic compounds which are capable of precipitation of animal proteins in hides and converting them into leather. So in tanning industries also these substances are useful. These substances they have got pharmaceutical applications also. Simply we can say that these are the substances which can easily precipitate proteins, isn't it? Now in our body also the superficial proteins of the skin can be precipitated and it forms a protective layer, isn't it? That is the property of tannins. Now they are widely distributed in plants. They are condensation products of gallic acid or flavanol. Now appropriate definition of tannins, we will see that these are complex organic non-nitrogenous and non-crystalline substances. They occur as mixture of polyphenols and from colloidal solutions with water that are widely distributed in plant, that is the vegetable kingdom we can say, isn't it? So most of these tannins they have got plant source, isn't it? And one of the tannin containing drug we have already covered in miscellaneous, isn't it? That is the galls, isn't it? Now little bit more introduction to tannins we will see. Apart from definition, that it is a secondary metabolite in plants. It is present in all trees, isn't it? And it shows astringent action and antioxidant property, isn't it? So that is the importance of tannins. They have got astringent property. Now these vegetable tannins are there. There are natural organic tannins, isn't it? It is astringent in action, bitter plant polyphenolic compounds that bind and precipitate proteins and various other organic compounds including amino acids and alkaloids. Now the word tannins, isn't it? So tanning, that is the treatment of leather, isn't it? It is applied to polyphenolic compounds, isn't it? Which contain hydroxyl groups, isn't it? And other suitable groups are also there, like there may be carboxyl group also, isn't it? To form strong complexes with various macromolecules. The tannin compounds are widely distributed in many species of plants where they play a role in protection from predation and perhaps also as pesticides and in plant growth regulation, isn't it? So they act as a plant growth regulators also, isn't it? Now the astringent action of tannins, isn't it? It causes dry and puckery feeling in the mouth following consumption of unripe fruit or red wine. The destruction or modification of tannins with time plays an important role in ripening of the fruit. Now tannins have high molecular weight ranging from 500 to over 3000 also. It may be 20,000 also, isn't it? Now we'll see important properties of tannins. Now these are soluble in water, then polar organic solvents and alkali solutions. These tannins react with ferric chloride solution, isn't it? And they give bluish or greenish color as they are phenolic. Then they precipitate proteins and gelatin. They form complex with alkaloids and heavy metals. So these are important properties of tannins. So after properties, we'll see now the medicinal and biological properties of tannins also. So tannin containing drugs, they precipitate proteins, as I said in the definition, and have been traditionally used as styptic. So due to the precipitation of proteins, what happens? They can stop hemorrhage or minor bleeding, isn't it? So internally, for protection of inflamed surfaces of mouth and throat, these tannin containing drugs can be used, isn't it? In most of the antacid preparations also they are present, isn't it? They play important role in treatment of burns. They form mild antiseptic protective layer on surface of injured skin, below which regeneration of new tissue take place, isn't it? That is another medicinal importance we can say of tannins. Then they can act as antidiarrheals, although not recommended in this respect, but they usually delay elimination of bacterial toxins from the body. Now tannins have been employed as antidote in poisoning by heavy metals, alkaloids and certain glycosides due to their precipitation as tannins, isn't it? So as an antidote also they can be incorporated. Then as most polyphenols were proved to have potent antioxidant effect, so they have got antioxidant property also, isn't it? This is the medicinal importance of tannins. Now what is the occurrence of tannins in nature, isn't it? So tannins are of wide occurrence in plants, isn't it? They are usually found in greatest quantity in dead or dying cells. They exert inhibitory effect, means they can stop, isn't it, the effect on many enzymes due to protein precipitation, and hence they may contribute protective function in barks and heartwood. Now commercial tannins are used in leather industries. Pharmaceutical tannin is prepared from oak galls. So earlier, as I said, we have covered one drug in miscellaneous category, and that is galls, isn't it? 5 drugs we have covered in miscellaneous drugs: squill, galls, ashwagandha, tulsi and gugul. Now this galls, it is obtained from oak tree, isn't it? We have covered the pharmacognostic study of galls, and it yields glucose and gallic acid on hydrolysis, and many commercial samples contain some free gallic acid also. Now some plants, for example clove, cinnamon, contain tannins in addition to principal therapeutic constituent. Now we know that the clove and cinnamon, they mainly contain volatile oil, but in addition to volatile oil, the tannins are also present in less amount. This may complicate extraction or produce incompatibility with the other drugs, isn't it? So many alkaloids, for example, are precipitated by tannins. This is about the occurrence of tannins in nature. Now important identification test, the general identification test for tannins. So in this three important tests are there, and most of the time question is asked on the general identification test. So for tannins, the first test is gelatin test, other is Goldbeater's skin test, and third one is Finazone test. Now gelatin test, in this the solution of tannin is taken, and in that the solution of 1% gelatin and 10% sodium chloride are added. What is the observation? A white buff color precipitate is formed, which confirms presence of tannins and pseudotannins. Now what are pseudotannins? That also we will see in classification of tannins. The other test is Goldbeater skin test. Now here what is done? A small piece of Goldbeater skin, that is the Goldbeater skin, it is nothing but the membrane or little part of the skin that is taken from intestine of ox. This piece of Goldbeater skin is soaked in 20% hydrochloric acid. Then it is rinsed with distilled water and placed in solution of tannins for 5 minutes. The skin piece is washed with distilled water and kept in 1% solution of ferrous sulfate. What is the observation? A brown or black color is produced on skin due to the presence of tannins. Then third test is Finazone test. Here 10 ml aqueous extract of tannins is taken and sodium acid phosphate is heated and cooled and filtered. A 2% solution of Finazone is added to filtrate. What is observation? A bulky color precipitate is formed. So these are three important general identification tests for tannins. Next is classification of tannins. So here, as you can see, there are two major classes of tannins. One is called true tannins and other is called pseudotannins. Now true tannins, they are high molecular weight compounds, whereas the pseudotannins, they are low molecular weight compounds, isn't it? Now true tannins are further classified into hydrolyzable tannins and condensed tannins, isn't it? So hydrolyzable, as the word means, these tannins can be hydrolyzed and the product of hydrolysis is pyrogallol, whereas condensed tannins, they are not easily hydrolyzed, isn't it? They are condensed form, isn't it? Catechol nucleus is present, isn't it? So this is the appropriate classification of tannins. Now one more slide we will see of classification of tannins, where a little bit description you will find, isn't it, beneficial. And as I said that there are two classes, that is the true tannins and pseudotannins. True tannins, they have high molecular weight, pseudotannins have low molecular weight. True tannins are further classified into hydrolyzable tannins and condensed tannins, isn't it? Now you must know the important points regarding all these classes, and you can differentiate also, you can between hydrolyzable tannins and condensed tannins. Now hydrolyzable tannins, they are hydrolyzed by mineral acids or enzymes easily, whereas condensed tannins cannot be hydrolyzed, they are resistant to hydrolysis. The other point is that these are esters of phenolic acid, hydrolyzable tannins, which are linked to polyhydric alcohol, whereas condensed tannins are derived from flavonoids like flavanol, catechin, isn't it? Whereas the two types of bases of phenolic acids, that is the gallotannins and eligotannins, isn't it? Gallotannins on hydrolysis give gallic acid, eligotannins on hydrolysis give ellagic acid, isn't it? Now Hydrolyzable tannins with ferric chloride solution give dark bluish color, isn't it? On dry distillation, they form pyrogallol, isn't it? Examples are Avla, Arjuna, Myrobalan, isn't it? So, tannin containing drugs we are going to cover, isn't it? Then condensed tannins, as I said, they are not easily hydrolyzed, isn't it? And they form flobafenes, which is red insoluble compound. And condensed tannins with ferric chloride, they give brownish green color, isn't it? And on dry distillation, they form catechol. Whereas pseudotannins, they are false tannins, we can say, and they are tannin-like substances. They are simple phenolic compounds. They do not give positive test for gold beater skin test, isn't it? So these pseudotannins are giving negative test, okay, for the gold beater skin test. They respond to most of the test of tannins, isn't it? So for example, Nux vomica contain tannins which are pseudotannins. Epicacona, it contains epicaconic acid, which is a false tannins, isn't it? Then next is the isolation of tannins, isn't it? How tannins can be separated, they can be extracted from plants. So depending upon the source of tannins, various modified methods are used for extraction of tannins. Now, methyl alcohol, hot water, acetone, ethyl acetate are common solvents which are used for the extraction. Now, after extraction, whatever the extract is there, that is filtered and it is dried under vacuum, isn't it? So this is all about the tannins. Now, the next is resins and resin combination, which is the last category in chemical nature, isn't it? Now resins we know, for example, Asafoetida, it is a oleogum resin combination of oil, gum and resin, isn't it? So first we will see definition of resins. Now resins are amorphous products. They are complex chemical nature. They are formed in schizogenous ducts or cavities, and chemical composition, they are containing either resin acids or resin alcohols or resinotanols or esters may be present, isn't it? So one more appropriate definition we will see of resins. Now resins are solid or semi-solid amorphous products derived from natural living sources and are mostly from plant origin. But there is one exception, that is the shellac, which is a resin and it is obtained from the secretion of insects. Now resins are secondary metabolites produced by higher plants and are nothing but oxidative products of terpenes, isn't it? They are obtained as exudates from plants. That means they are secreted, isn't it, on the you can say bark portion or any other part of the plant and considered as end product of metabolism. They exist in solid or semi-solid form and they are amorphous in nature and they are products of complex chemical nature. So this is one of the appropriate definition for resins. Now properties of resins we will see. Now physical properties are that these resins are existing in purified form, they are amorphous in nature, brittle and hard solids. They have high specific gravity and therefore they are heavier than water. They dissolve in organic solvents. Now chemical properties are that they are chemically terpenes, and resins upon heating they become soft and they can melt also. So resins when burnt, they produce smoky flame. Classification we will see of resins, and we will try to understand classification by referring few slides, isn't it? One is on basis of occurrence of secondary metabolites, isn't it? There are 5 classes which are given of resins. One is oleoresin, which is a combination of volatile oil and resin, isn't it? So naturally occurring mixture. The other is gum resin, where resin is associated with gum. Other is oleogum resin, where naturally there is a mixture of volatile oil, gum and resin. Then the fourth one is glycoresin, where the resin is present in combination with sugars, isn't it, via glycosidyl linkage. Then fifth one is balsams. So there are balsamic resins also, where these type of resins they exist in combination with balsamic acids. Now there are 2 important balsamic acids. One is benzoic acid and other is cinnamic acid. One more slide which shows the classification of resins. So acid resin is one of the class. Here just to make you understand कि here these type of resins on hydrolysis give acids. Now colophony is a resin. It contains abitic acid. Sendrac contains sendracolic acid. Mir, which is antiseptic and disinfectant, hasn't it? We have already covered Mir drug. It is a oleogum resin, and the acid that is present in Mir is commiphoric acid. Then copaiba contains copivic acid. One more slide regarding classification of resins, isn't it? So with appropriate examples are given. Now resins, for example, colophony and cannabis. Then oleoresin, where only combination of oil and resin is there, for example copaiba and ginger. Oleogum resin, asafoetida and myrrh, that is the combination of oil, gum and resin. Then balsams, here balsam of tolu, isn't it, which is antitussive drug, isn't it? Already it is covered. Another is balsam of Peru. Then glycoresin, which is a combination of resin and sugars, for example jalap, and resins like asafoetida and colophony. Now on the same time we must know about the balsams also, which is a resin combination, isn't it? So the definition for balsam is that these are resinous mixtures that contain large proportion of balsamic acids, for example cinnamic acid or benzoic acid, or both may be present, or esters of these acids may be present, isn't it? So the balsam oftenly it may be applied for oleoresin, but it is wrong. Actually balsams, these are the balsamic resins, isn't it? So therefore this term balsams must be reserved for such a substance like balsam of Peru, balsam of Tolu, balsam of Storax, which contain high proportion of aromatic balsamic acids like benzoic acid or cinnamic acid. Now method of isolation. So how resins can be obtained by following some process, isn't it? So how they can be removed from the plant, isn't it? Pharmaceutically resins are obtained from plants and animals by one of the following methods. So 3 methods are given. One is by extraction with any solvent like alcohol, and then subsequently precipitation with water. For example, jala, podophyllum are obtained by extraction, isn't it? Then this resin can be obtained by distillation also, isn't it? For example, colophony and copaiba. So distillation is done by taking the distillation unit where the oil can be separated. And third technique is by heating the plant part, isn't it? By heating the plant part also, the resins can be separated from the plant. For example, guaiacum is the example. So here we finish up about the tannins and resins, isn't it? Here the topic, that is the chemical nature of crude drugs, is over, isn't it? So go through the lecture. If you are not able to understand, listen twice or thrice and complete your notes. Thank you.